Hi college football fans, I'm Mike Calabrese and I'm here to share some breaking news on EA Sports' return to the college gridiron. That's right, College Football 25 is just 6 weeks away, and what can we expect after 11 years in digital hibernation? Well, let's get into it. So what can we expect when we fire up the game? Well, for starters, 134 FBS teams, that's every single one of them, including the newest addition, the Kennesaw State Owls, as well as over 12,000 real-life players. So say goodbye to Texas quarterback number 3, and say hello to Quinn Ewers, who was joined on the cover by Colorado's Travis Hunter and Michigan's Donovan Edwards. Every player that opted in received $600, as well as a free copy of College Football 25. Now, their ratings were all calculated mainly using Pro Football Focus, who came in and assisted EA in the height, weight, speed, attributes element of this. And it's important to keep that in mind because previously in the series, all the way through the last one, NCAA 14, that was released in the summer of 2013, users were able to go through and update everything as it related to the players' heights, weight, hometown, attributes. You're not going to be able to do that with players who opted in. However, players who did not opt in, such as Texas's Arch Manning, who was replaced with a generic player, you will be able to tweak some of their stats, and you'll be able to fully customize rosters if you go through Team Builder mode, which we'll get to later. You know what else will be in the game? Traditions, and more traditions. The Penn State whiteout will be accompanied by Zombie Nation blaring on the loudspeakers in Happy Valley. They even found a way to sneak Neck into the game for rowdy moments at Tiger Stadium down in Baton Rouge. Add in Clemson's entrance with Howard's Rock, players and fans waving to Children's Hospital during Iowa's football games. It's clear EA went all in on authenticity and realism. And while the game may not have an ESPN, Fox, or CBS score bug integrated into it, you're going to find familiar voices on the call. Chris Fowler, Kirk Herbstreit, Reese Davis, Jesse Palmer, and David Pollock will all be calling games, so you're not stuck with the same two-man crew every time you fire up the game. As for gameplay, there were some major announcements made following a live event down in Orlando last week, and unfortunately for gamers hoping for mascot mode to return, it will not be in College Football 25. So if you're hoping to bowl over defenders with Otto the Orange, you're going to have to wait for a future release of the game, at least by one calendar year. They did tease the fact that they may bring it back in the future, but that mini game is out. What's in is all 134 schools have unique playbooks that were built out over the past 2 years. Gamers can also customize and create playbooks along the way. Home field advantage, this is a big one. It was a major feature in the NCAA football series for years, and it's back with a vengeance this time around. The impact of playing on the road is going to be felt, particularly by underclassmen quarterbacks. Issues with play calling, audibles, and performance will be evident and can snowball against players lacking experience and composure. And when you're trying to keep your composure on the road, you'll also notice EA's new wear and tear, injury and fatigue system. Much like a boxer, you can only take so many punches throughout the course of a game before you start to see your play slip, and also the instances of injury start to go up. So you need to take care of your players, make sure you're rotating, and limit touches for certain players who may not have strength attributes and durability attributes up to snuff. You don't want to see your star players leave the field with an injury. Media members who got early access to the game know that EA's concerted effort to differentiate between superstars and regular players was as clear as day. An All-American is going to run circles around a Conference USA backup, so it's important to play those matchup advantages where you see them. The option game, which is also a major differentiator between the college and pro games, got a facelift as well. There are now two different kind of pitches, a quick and strong pitch. The mechanics of the read option are also a bit different, where now you'll need to pull the ball if you want to keep it with your quarterback or run an RPO. And while there's no X factors as there are in Madden, there are physical and mental abilities that differentiate regular players from superstars. According to reports, this is a nice addition that adds a special layer to star players without being overpowering, and that was kind of the overarching issue with X factors in Madden for the past few years. In the passing game, gamers are also going to need to layer in passes over linebackers in front of members of the secondary, so lasering balls all over the field just isn't going to work. According to reports, EA still is fine-tuning this element of the game with just weeks left until the launch, so hopefully they get it just right on launch day. And last but not least, special teams got a full overhaul as well. Kicking is now much more challenging than in years past. You're going to notice a big difference between elite kickers kicking in low pressure situations as opposed to average kickers kicking in clutch road situations. Kicking on the road is stressful. It's been reflected in the mechanics of it, and it is really rewarding when you make it and very easy to shank a kick. So the hashtag college kickers are alive and well in College Football 25. As for game modes, we have three major ones to get into: Team Builder, Dynasty Mode, and Road to Glory. The beloved Team Builder mode will return for College Football 25, and early reports indicate that it's far more robust than it was on PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 when the series was shut down with NCAA 14. That means gamers will be able to customize schools, bringing to life programs straight out of their imagination, as well as replicating programs that didn't make the cut, like FCS schools North Dakota State, Montana, and Villanova. And specifics have leaked so far that you'll be able to update logos, completely customize rosters. So all these generic players that are being put in Team Builder mode, you can go through their equipment, their height, their weight, their hometown, every single attribute. It'll be up to you to be able to build that, as well as the uniforms that they wear and the stadiums that they play in. Now, information on Dynasty mode continues to trickle in, but is going to be a point of contention because this is arguably the most beloved feature and mode of any EA Sports game. You and 32 of your friends will be able to compete in an online Dynasty for up to 30 years, and there's so much within this mode that is customizable. You can customize your conferences. You want Florida State in the Big Ten? Sure. You want North Carolina in the SEC? Why not? You can also make changes to your schedule, you can protect rivalries, you can set up neutral site games, and the 12-team college football playoff is finally in the game. Way back in the PS1 days, NCAA Football 99, you could opt to go away from the bowls and go to a playoff system, but that had been missing from the game series for 15 years, so that's an exciting development. Then we have recruiting, which is really the lifeblood of this mode and college football programs across the country. Not only are you recruiting players, you're also doing it with your coaching staff. You can hire and fire coordinators, and now you'll have to balance your staff in terms of their skill set. So attributes like motivator, recruiter, tactician, as well as 11 other skills are now going to be available in the coaching abilities tab. So you're going to have to be able to balance that out, as well as consider the fact that different coordinators are going to bring in different playbooks. Each recruiting class as well is going to feature 4,000 players. You can sign up to 35 in a class. You'll also be able to play the transfer portal to balance out your roster. But keep in mind, you're going to have players defect if they don't get playing time or they're dissatisfied with where they are on the depth chart in general. So there's going to be a lot of player movement and turnover year to year. And finally, you can also invite players onto campus to see games in person. So if you go ahead and you lose to UMass by 35 points, that's really going to hurt you. A big issue here, NIL, is it in the game? Sort of. It certainly is in the Road to Glory mode, which I'll get to in a second, but as it relates to Dynasty mode, they call it brand exposure. So it's replaced the TV exposure element and pitch that existed in NCAA 14. So while this is going to play an element of it, you're also going to have to balance out some of the traditional pitches like playing time, school tradition, offensive or defensive style fit, these kind of things that you're pitching. So the mode, while still hasn't been fully unveiled, it wasn't shown off to media last week, it still sounds really promising, and it's very interesting how NIL is going to be balanced. Is it going to be overpowered or underpowered? Only time will tell on College Football 25. And finally, last but not least, we have the Road to Glory mode, which is making its return, but with a twist. Instead of starting in the high school ranks, you're going to be selecting your star level and starting as a college freshman. From there, you're going to be able to work your way up the depth chart, and once you've unlocked enough points, you're going to be able to compete in a mini game with a starting role on the table, which is very exciting that they're bringing those back. Those have been mothballed in both the NCAA and Madden series for years, so excited to see what those mini games look like. You're also going to have NIL branding opportunities, training sessions, spending time in the film room, and academics. If you kill it in any of these categories, you're going to get boosts to specific ratings, but fail to go to class and you could get yourself ruled academically ineligible, so it's important to balance these out. Now, how does that play out in the Road to Glory series? Well, this mode essentially presents featurettes and mini movies where you get to choose your own adventure. You want to hang out with your teammates, go out on the town. That may lead to higher morale and leadership points. You want to hit academics. That could be something that you focus on, or spending more time in the film room. All of it needs to be balanced because it will be impossible to max out every single attribute. If you want to go and play for multiple schools, that's also your prerogative as well. You can hop into the transfer portal and get the full JT Daniels experience. You can play for 4 schools in 4 years. You can do it. The world's your oyster. All right, that's all we know about College Football 25 at this point. If you'd like this video, please subscribe and comment below. There's going to be more gameplay notes and features that are going to be shared by the EA Sports team in the coming days, so we'll be back with more updates. Thanks so much for watching.